Your ex can be in competition with you even if they discard you. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I did a video on how your ex can be in competition after the breakup. And this commenter says, even if he discarded you. And I want to say, especially if they discard you, that the whole discard process can be part of the competition, and it's let me discard you before you discard me. Let me discard you to humble you, and that whole discard can be sort of a humiliation ritual, even in it of itself, as folks like to call it. But that's meant to humble you, meant to put you out there on display so that everybody can see it, that, oh, they had to leave you first. And so that could be part of the competition. And in fact, how many times have you heard it when someone say, "Oh, I had a good woman, or I had a good man, and I did him wrong, and I did all these things." You hear it all the time. It's people that do that are a dime a dozen because you hear it so much. And so that whole part of that discard is like, okay, well, if I can do it first, if I can do it the worst, then I have won the competition. And let me just keep going. Let me just keep racking up my Mario coins here, and really seeing how deep I can sort of twist the knife in her back, so I can discard. I can post about it on social media. I could tell all the family and friends that he or she did all these things to me. I could hurry up and get a new partner in like 1 to 2 business days. I could be out in Cancun flexing and doing all these things. So it really turns into this thing where it's like, okay, let me do as much as I can to really, make sure that they're down and out of the competition. So never forget, the discard is often part of the competition, because you have to stop and ask yourself, why does when a discard happens, why does it happen the way that it happens? You can literally break up with somebody in a respectful way. You could say, you know what, we're good. This relationship's not aligned with me. You know what, I'm kind of done with this relationship. But when you have people that go above and beyond, like they're telling all their friends, and they're laughing at you, or their friends are sort of laughing in the background while they break up with you, or they're wanting to flex for everybody on the gram. Why does everything have to be so public? Why do you need an audience to do a discard, right? As opposed to it being about you and me, it's about you, me, and everybody, you know. So you want to ask yourself about that, because you can break up with someone, and sometimes the breakups aren't always peaceful and copacetic. They're not always that kind of breakup, but you don't have to be disrespect. You don't have to declare war in a breakup. You don't have to do it painfully. And when people do things in the worst way, then you gotta wonder about. So I'll give you an example. Way back when I was dating a guy, he would kind of be in and out, in and out, and you know we finally, we broke up, and I was like crying on the phone. I was doing one of those kind of things, like, why are you breaking up with me? And him and all his roommates, they were laughing, and then his roommates called and left like a voicemail on my answering machine of them pretending to be me crying. It was a joke to them. It was a joke to them. And it was no longer about me and the guy who broke up. It was like, how bad can I embarrass this person, right? And how much of a laugh and a rise can we get out of it? Total bullshit, by the way. But it was that grandstanding, and they didn't know, the stuff that he would say and do in between. They just know what he decided to show them. But there was a point that he wanted to make about, discarding me in the worst way, me being laughed at for having feelings, and being like, surprise, I now have a new girlfriend, me being upset about that, right? And so that was a display, and that made him feel like a big man, big man, in front of his friends. And so what's happening there? What is he trying to prove? And I'm not necessarily trying to make it about me, but I want to give you an example to sort of clarify the situation. So anyway, I hope that this helps. You guys take care, like, share, follow, and subscribe to my newsletter if you want to be in the loop about things to come. Thanks so much.